Man, y'all know what it is. The real two Ted. All praise to God for everything. I mean, every single thing. And I'm here with my brother Marathon Manny. We have a special guest in the building, King Mother Ralph. Man, how you feeling, my brother? How you doing, man?
Good, man.
Good, man. Before we start, we gotta do a mental check-in. How you feeling mentally?
I'm 100. I'm good. I know when to take my steps back. I know when to bring myself back forward. I'm good.
Okay,
man.
cool. How about yourself, man?
Man, I want you to go first. I'm gonna share second.
Okay, cool. So basically with me, man, I'm doing great, man. God is good every single day, like I said last time, man. If I could put my 2 feet on the ground, I'm blessed, man, just to be here and keep it going, man. So all praise to God for everything. No complaints at all, man. For sure.
All right, right here, man. Like I just said too. I done had a long week, man, and it's not just been me. I've been observing and seeing there's been other people too that had a long week this week, man. And it's been, trials and tribulations and stuff. And like honestly, like in energy wise, I don't want to be around nobody, but right now I feel like I'm putting my energy into something that has a purpose, that's serving a purpose, and it's gonna serve people that's actually watching and listening. So, we here, we're gonna make it happen.
Absolutely, I love that. So look, Ralph, take us back to the beginning, man. Like, where you from?
Born right here in Washington, D.C. Both of my parents, right on Washington Hospital. Grew up
Washington Hospital,
baby. I was born out early, you know what I'm saying?
You all right?
Holy Cross, that's another one. Go ahead.
I grew up uptown D.C.
Absolutely.
First few years of my life, probably up to 5 or 6. I live right on Kennedy Street, 820 Kennedy Street. That ain't as a family home. It ain't our family home no more, but as a family home, end up moving around the Georgia Avenue, Petworth area. Yeah, I mean, uptown DC, that's what
uptown
raised me, man.
Uptown, Northwest.
Uptown made.
So let me ask you this, man. Did you grow up in a 2-parent household?
Kind of mixed. So my situation kind of different. Yeah, I had both of my parents. I wouldn't say it was a 2-parent household, mainly because, all honesty, being transparent, my father was out in the street. My father was a street dude. So, my mother, in order to keep us away from that, they had their differences and stuff, but talk about number one supporter, my father. I got 4 siblings, man. 3 sisters, 1 brother. It's 5 of us. All same mother and father. Like, when I tell you, like, he our biggest supporter, even with little achievements, man. But I would say my mother was kind of like a single mother, but my father was definitely in my life, played a big part of my life.
Absolutely. Shout out to Pops, man. Shout out to Pops.
To the father. Like
Tell you so. Coming up, did you have like any like role models, positive influences? Like, talk about that if you had any.
I mean, I had a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people I took from here and there. I say one of my main role models, I would say, is my uncle, my uncle Corey.
Shout out.
He photographer, but like when I tell you, like he introduced me to a lot of stuff. Like when it came down to, simply some of the sports teams I like. Even though my father played that part too, but like even me, like being in technology, he played a big part. So I would say like that's one of my biggest role models in my life.
Amen. I love to hear that, man. So growing up, did you face any challenges like, depression, things like that? Because, when we hit like that 12, 13-year-old stage, kind of like, we get everything when we're young, right? Then we get to that 12, 13, mom, dude, so you getting too big, you can't get them shoes, you can't get them shirts, you too old, you getting too big now, you know what I'm saying? And so,
I'm trying
to start to cost too much. You're like, oh man, then you said you had 4, then got 4 siblings, 5 of y'all in total. So talk about that. Was it ever a struggle?
So, if it was a struggle, my mother did her best to not show us.
Shout out to mom.
She was one of those. She did her best to not show us. But everybody had their moments in life, where they go through things, whether it's health wise or I feel like especially young Black males. Even in this area, everybody hit that point where they do have that slight point of depression. So I would say, like early on, like I definitely had health problems since coming out the womb. I was severe asthmatic coming out the womb, so that played a big part. And then like through some incidents when I was younger, I suffered from alopecia as well. So when I was younger, I'm talking about, I may got curly hair now, but I'm talking about full bald head, full bald head, and I don't know. That's why I say like Black community is different, because even with my brothers and sisters, to make light of the situation, they joked about it. Like they had all types of nicknames. And when I tell you, I love them for that, because they don't do nothing but just make you strong. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You understand. You understand jokes from jokes and real from real. So
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, like I would say, I definitely hit a point of depression. I would say like around 17, 18, just finishing school. Everybody else going off to school. I didn't get to go off to school right away. I playing it too close with sports, and I would say being lazy as well, like played a big part. So I hit a stump in the road, definitely hit a stump in the road. Like I ain't know what direction I wanted to go in my life. I knew I wanted to go to school mainly because everybody else was going to school. It wasn't even because that's where I really wanted to be. So like I definitely had that down point, that downtime. And I pushed through it, definitely pushed through it. And I feel like a lot of people in the Black community, especially Black males, they keep it to themselves.
Most definitely.
Like they keep those times to themselves. And I was definitely one of them. But like they say, mothers always know best.
Yeah.
My mother always, when I'm in the downtime, she always see it on my face and everything.
For sure.
We gonna change the dynamic of this, of what you said. Everybody keeping it in. We gonna change the dynamic here on this show, on this platform.
For sure.
Now, back to the depression. I am curious, that you mentioned it, because honestly, I never really, knew that about you, right? How do you feel like, you pulled yourself out of it? Because, it's a hell of a hole to pull yourself out of. I've been there.
How I pulled myself out of it was during that downtime, that depression time. I built a true relationship with God. That's the honest truth. Like
all praise to God. All praise.
And like I feel like at that time, that's the only person that could help me. That's the only person that could guide me. So like I grew closer with God. I grew a relationship with God. Reading random scriptures every morning, like praying every morning. And I just told myself, like, even once I get out of that stage, or once I got out of that stage, I was going to thank him every single day for that. And I was going to constantly, show him praise every single day for that. So that was honestly the biggest thing for me. And like people look at me, won't even think, I'm truly like religious, but honest truth, I don't go to church on Sundays, every Sundays. I feel like, my personal opinions, a lot of politics within certain type of churches or everything, but I still am like a religious person. Like I do believe there is a higher God, and there is some type of
relationship with God. You have your own relationship with God.
Most definitely.
Anything else.
Most definitely.
I commend you on that, bro. I respect you a whole lot for that.
100%.
I like that.
I'm telling you. I don't know if you remember this, Ralphie, man. I know you since the 7th grade, man. And everybody used to always say, "Oh, y'all brothers." Man. Even my own mother had saw him one day, and she was like, "That's my son. That's my son." My aunt was in the car with her. I'm like, "Man, that's not Kyrie, man. That's Tyrone. This, that, the third. So yeah, man, it's just crazy. Since the 7th grade, everybody thought we was brothers, man. Crazy, man. But yeah, real brothers though. We brothers, man. We ain't real, but this is my brother. But I'm gonna say this though, Ralphie. So for those you don't know, man, you in IT. So talk about that. How did you get involved with IT?
So it's been a back and forth. So when I was coming up, like my mother, she made sure like to keep us like in sports. Like that's how she kept us away from the streets.
Absolutely. Shout out to moms.
And number 6 Boys and Girls Club. And I tell you, like in and out of there, that's where my brother spent most of our time. Man, like inside the Boys and Girls Club. Like so when I was coming up, it was all sports for me. And like football, like I started off playing basketball. But once I got that chance to play football, like when I tell you, I truly fell in love with it.
For sure.
Like I said, like I thought that was gonna be like I was gonna be involved in some type of sports. And it came to a point, and then like I mentioned my uncle, like when we was younger, like he introduced us to so much technology, like when I come down to video games, like computers, everything. And like with him being that way, my mother, like, being the mother that she is, she always at that point would keep a computer in the house. Whether it was, got to a point where 1 million and 2 viruses, because we done downloaded every single video, everything on that thing.
I already know it.
Like, nah, but I was always around technology. And then like, I hit a certain point where like it came down to like, what do I really want to do? Like, you get what I'm saying? And I was like, I know like coaching may be in my future, like as far as football, but like it came down to what can I do to, create some type of income, and then, you know, having conversations with multiple people. I know like one of the most serious conversations I ever had, my man Jalen from VSU, man. Shout out Jalen, man. We would sit down. I just told him like, I really think I want to get into IT, but not knowing and without doing research prior to that, I didn't know how big the IT world was.
For sure.
Right? Like,
For sure.
it's 1,002 lanes you can go into. So
many ways.
how I ended up getting into it was did some research, and I found a program out in Laurel, Maryland, and that program pretty much. I originally thought I was going in, I was going to do cybersecurity, but they end up, you know, catching my interest with Linux. And Linux, you know, for people who don't know, it's an operating system. It's just an operating system other people don't want to learn how to use. That's all it is.
Okay.
And so
it's tedious. It's a tedious system.
man, yeah, it's tedious, but it's only tedious because it's used mainly on the back end. Like,
Sure.
you know, when y'all see these movies and they on like, you know, you see that black screen and be the white text and they just typing away, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. All they might be doing is moving throughout a computer system. They probably won't even be typing in much or
Crazy.
doing a whole bunch of coding and stuff. Because every time somebody see my computer screen, they say, "You coding?" Like, nah, I'm just on a different operating system.
Damn.
But like how I got into it was like, yeah, I just did some research on it and I seen like the potential and how fast you can grow in that field. And I was like, I mean, I've been around it all my life, and come to find out, like it became, you know, it became one of my true loves too. Like once I got into IT, I was like, I found a career for me, and it made me comfortable.
Absolutely. So what was the process, man? Like, you know, did you have to take a class or anything? Like, how was the process? How long was the process?
So I did join the course. The process, I would say it took, for me, you know, from 6 to 8 months. But that's because like I'm one of those people, when I start something, I'm determined to finish it.
Absolutely.
I'm determined to finish
Absolutely.
it. And it's crazy because my sister, my older sister Tiara, she mentioned that one day. She's like, one thing I know about you, like when you start something, you don't never just drop it.
For sure.
Like you always want to
finish.
Even if I don't, you know, even if I don't like finish it right away or in the same like time manner that somebody else finishes it. I always like I gotta finish something I stop. It's that obsession in me, like that I got.
I definitely feel that.
But yeah, like the process, 6 to 8 months. Yeah, I did go through I went through a course that helped me a lot, and you know, started my my network within like the IT field, and like from there it was I was just off and running. Off and running.
I got a question for you, right? Having to do with the IT field, because I was interested in it at a point, but I was honestly I was discouraged because I felt like I had a lack of resources. You know, and you know, y'all, you know, I done gave the introduction on my life and stuff. I'm a fella right now. And there's a lot of other fellas coming home, you know, with just probably the only education they have is a GED like myself, right? And other than, you know, self-education and reading and stuff, but they have so much hope. There's so many guys coming home with so much hope and ambition to make something more out of their life. You know, do you feel like IT is, you know, a field of possibilities for felons coming home? Like, do you feel like they can get into that?
So I feel like different people have personal opinions on that. In my opinion, I feel like they can get into the field. The reason because is once you learn those skills, it's not like you have to work for a particular company or organization or even the government. IT is used in plenty different ways. So the fact that you can be a consultant for companies, like I just think about, and like I know I relay everything back to my family. I just think about my sister. Like she talked about how in her office they simply needed computers and monitors and a printer set up. And somebody can come in and charge $100 by the hour, $200 by the hour, just to do something so easy as that. And other people can't. Like it's an opportunity for like anybody, but it's all about, you know, it's all about brainstorming and understanding that.
For sure.
But absolutely, like somebody just coming home, like could definitely get into IT, and it's definitely like the resources are there, especially in this area. Like you gotta think about it. We got an Amazon built, Amazon headquarters getting built right over the bridge in Virginia. So like the resources are here. Like in DC, they got 1,000,002 programs, and a lot of them for DC residents are free. So like within these programs, like they'll teach you, they'll help you, like to the point that they'll even work with you as far as like your resume, not resume, but your interview etiquette.
Okay.
So yeah, like helping you on interviews, like knowing what to say in interviews, how to get your stories and your situation together, and also on top of that, like knowing what to ask them, because in interviews people don't be understanding, like not only are the people, like they need you as much as you need them.
That's
For
a
sure.
fact.
They
That's
need
a
you
fact.
as much as you need them. So you got to understand that you're going into the best situation for you. And a lot of people don't think about that when they on interviews. You know, they get so nervous
Yeah.
and so into like wanting
For
a
sure.
job, but
Priority, like they
Yeah.
these people above you because you're looking for them to get a paycheck.
right. And I tell people this all the time. Like you got to understand, like the right situation is going to find you.
Now, you know what I noticed too, man? People are impressed when you know about the company. So the thing is, and when you go in there already knowing you spent those facts for your company's potential, they impressed. Oh yeah, let me get him, let me get her, let me get him. And so the thing is, you got to go in there with already information, history about the company. So if you want something that bad, you're gonna do that information instead of going in there. Oh, they ask you a question, you don't know what the heck is going on. So with that being said, what are some advantages of IT? What are the advantages?
Some advantages of IT. I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah, every facts. Okay.
Everybody walk around with their phone.
Absolutely.
Everybody, these cars nowadays, it's literally like within these cars, different. I know I'm telling you, like even the radio system is different type of operating system in these cars. So just knowing certain things within the IT world, like it helps you with everyday living.
Absolutely.
Like everyday living, like you know what you get, like down to, if you know like the specs of computers, like down to buying a TV, like you know, like if you getting the bang for your buck, like how much money you spending on
Absolutely.
TV,
Absolutely.
or you know, you get what I'm saying, like so it's everywhere. Like even you know people who are in real estate, like if they got a background in IT, they may know about, you know, like the small nooks and crannies within the house, as far as like what drags energy,
Pretty
like
much everything.
like how much energy will be burned by certain appliances and everything. IT, it's a growing field. Like you can go any type of way. Any
Sure.
type of way. Yeah.
I know y'all want to hear this part. What's the money looking like, man? What's the money looking like, man? Because it's everywhere, so I'm assuming it's some money. What's the money looking like?
So I can speak. So like I said, it's different types of fields, because when it comes to IT, you can go into security, you can go into networking, you can be a subject matter expert, anything. As far as my field, like I'm a Linux system administrator. So
What is that?
basically, so Linux is an operating system.
Okay.
It's just a simple operating system.
Okay.
It's kind of like, I mean, like Mac OS is an operating system. When you update your phone,
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah,
it's just a different operating system
Okay.
that other people don't, you know how to use. And when you become basically like a admin in that field, basically you know how to, when problems happen, fix these problems that happen. So you know, Linux is, a lot of these machines are used by a lot of government companies, or even like, you know, Fortune 500 companies, like big companies. So I would say in my field, starting out 80,000 a year, and you can max out at almost. I mean, if you work your way around and, you know, in the field for a long time, you can max out like around 200, 250. Yeah.
Imagine you 18.
You better get up in there.
Definitely.
So if you don't, go.
It's one of those things that it definitely, I would say it takes patience, like being a system admin, and it takes critical thinking.
Most deaf.
Like, and that's something like I'm one of those people, like you can ask anybody. I'm not spontaneous. Like I don't just go out there. I'm not like it's like I try to be, like, especially like, you know, in my relationship, like I try to be spontaneous, but I gotta set things out. I can be spontaneous once I'm in it and once I'm doing it, but like to just like go into it without, you know, set, you know, lining my ducks in the line, or have my ducks in the line before I go in. Like I have to.
Of course.
So like it's one of those fields where like you got like critical thinking is very important, because you gotta like you gotta think. Sometimes you gotta think outside the box to get your job done. So that is what it is.
I got a question about so, you know, and this is a thing for like a lot of, you know, work fields like 9 to 5, all that stuff, man. You know, I'm going through that too. It's like, do I really want to live a 9 to 5 lifestyle? You know, so how is the work-life balance in the IT field? You know, like, you know, talk about that.
So I'm gonna talk about the IT field, and then I'm gonna talk about like how I feel like it should be for anybody in any field. So within the IT field, you know, your work, you only take your work home if you force yourself to take it home. Because at the end of the day, like the work you get done at work, as long as you getting done what you need to get done between them core hours you at work, you will not to take it home.
For sure.
And I would say like, I feel like it should, you know, you should know if you decide for something to be your career, right? You should know basically what the work, I would say, what the work hours consist of. And by that I mean like entrepreneurs, for instance. Like you got some people like they're so hungry, and you know, like their time is needed so much that they gotta work those extra hours. Like they can only get that 2-3 hours of sleep. Whereas, you know, you got people like such as me, like I know like all I have to really do is work my core hours. So once I'm there in the morning, once I'm at work in the morning with maybe I'm an early bird, so you know 7:30, 8 to I like to work 9-hour days too. You get that every 2 weeks you get that extra day off. Just add it up to 80 hours 2 weeks. But like I like to, you know, I know that when I go in at 7:30, 8 in the morning, like I'm gone at 5, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like everybody naturally you're gonna have them thoughts like, all right, I'm probably gonna have to get this done tomorrow, get that done tomorrow. But you know what your daily work consists of. And like my work-life balance, I would say like it's great. Like especially in this IT world. Like I don't, you know, when I go home, like I'm at home, like I might, you know, do some little practice for me, but that's my personal time. That's my lifetime.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my lifetime. But yeah, I mean, the work-life balance is definitely there. It's definitely there. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say this too, man. Like, see, a lot of people want instant gratification. We live in a society where everything is in the microwave. You know, they don't want to put in the oven. You know, when you get all the sweetness, all the juices, and all that stuff, they want everything to be in the microwave. Okay, boom. And sometimes when you put it in there a certain time in the microwave, it still don't be warm. You know what I'm saying? Still don't be done, but they still eat it anyway because they so hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Inside be cold.
Exactly. So, you know, with like your story, man, like you know, like how long it took you. Some people can't go through with it. What can you say for them to stay motivated? You know what I'm saying? Not to give up on it.
I say this all the time to a lot of people. It's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Most definitely.
So like you can't, and I even had to learn this myself. You can't look at the next person and say like, oh, they did it in this time or they doing it now. Like I can do that too. Like everybody's story different.
Most definitely.
Like you know, like your story ain't my story. My story ain't his story. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That's the beautiful thing of life. Right there. Everybody got their own unique path in life, and it's just
so it's a matter of understanding that, because man, patience is a virtue.
Like, man.
As long as you got patience, you're gonna go far. Like,
I'm telling you.
Like, and I tell people that all the time. It's always light at the end of the tunnel, but stick with it. Like it's gonna pop for you. It's gonna happen.
Understand. So like the thing is, man, so for a person that don't have no direction after, you know, high school, they don't want to go to college, they don't want to go to trade school, you'll definitely, you know, encourage them to go to the IT field.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to push on my brother, and he finishing college. Because it's always there for you. Like,
for sure.
And then like, you know, like you got some people who not really into school. So I mean, yes, it takes some learning, but it's not as long as going to a 4-year college and having to earn a degree. You know, you can do a 6 to 8 month program or maybe a year program, and within that program, you know, they put you right into an internship, or they put you, you know, right into a job. And, you know, so like I promote it. I mean, 100%. Everybody, if I could get everybody into it, I want everybody.
I'm telling you, man.
It's $1 million and 2 jobs out there.
Definitely fact.
What you saying is, you know, like I know it's true, because I actually, you know, shout out to my cousin Erica. She's right now in the process, in the program, going through it, and I be pushing her. I be like, yo, she like, man, I'm backed up on homework and this and that. I'm like, you guys better put that work in, because it's gonna pay you off.
For sure.
On the line, you know, and we in our mid-20s, and she's just doing this, and I'm encouraging her every time. You know, she be having to stay up late. She work, you know, she work in the daytime, but she be having to be up at night doing the classes, finishing her homework and stuff, and I just be right there on her back, like, yo, just do it. You know, it's gonna pay off for you. You found you a lane, stick to it. It's gonna happen.
Definitely.
Because I feel like after high school, you know, especially in this area, but and you know, like no offense, because I love them to death, and I got a few good men in the within the fire department. I feel like, you know, a lot of young black males, like, you know, like I feel like the first thing that they've been seeing, or, you know, that they used to seeing, is going directly into the fire department, because they see how, you know, how easy it is, how comfortable it is, where that same amount of time that it takes to become, or that it takes in that cadet program, you can do that same amount of time in an IT program in this area and start out making just as much money, if not more. So like, if anybody's seeing this video, like, I'm gonna push you to go to IT instead of going to the
what's so
fire
crazy about
department.
what you saying, man? You can go to university for 4 years, right? You know, you putting all that work and not even making no money, because that's the American dream they tell you back then. Or you go to school, you get a nice paying job, you get a, you know, family, white picket fence, this, that, and the third. But if you look at the dynamics, it's not like that anymore from when we was growing up. You know what I'm saying? They're like you saying, you could do a 6 to 8 month course and make 80,000. Imagine you 18 years old making 80,000. Then you going to school for 4 years. You get out, you ain't making no money when you barely could find a job. IT is all around us, guys. And so, like I said, if you don't have no, you know, sense of direction, you know, you don't want to go to college, you know, and IT is definitely the way to go, man. Definitely the way to go. So I'm gonna ask you this, Rob, to switch it up. If you can go back and talk to your 13-year-old self, what would you tell that person?
I want to hear this.
What I would tell my 13-year-old self, first thing first, I would let myself know, like, gain your patience right now. Like, it took me a while to gain my patience. Gain your patience right now. Like, be patient. Like, what you want in life is gonna come. Like, I would definitely tell myself, gain your patience now. What else I would tell myself is, sports not life. It's not. Sports not life. It's not life. Like, yeah, I feel like, you know, growing up in the Black community, like, you know, they press sports so much, like that's the only way to be super successful.
I
got something for that.
When it's not, like, sports is not life. It's not at all.
It's only one avenue.
And I'm gonna say that that's so crazy that you said that, because the community I live in is a Jewish community, and so, you know, the Jewish people, you know, you look at their kids, they short, they can't do that, so they teach their kids to own a team and not play on a team. And, you know what I'm saying? And so we gotta change the mindset in our community. Own a team and not play, because the thing is, you're paying these players, you're making more money than them. You know what I'm saying? You giving them that salary, whatever you get paid in the NBA, however it goes. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And so they teach their kids how to own a team, how to play for the team. And so we always promote sport like it's the only way out. Nah, you could be smart. IT, you can do so many things, write books. I mean, so many things you can do, man. So many things you can do. And so, you know, that's what we got to, you know, in our community, just encourage the youth to understand, like, it's more life than sports. Just like my brother King Ralph said, it's more life. It's more life.
I think the last thing I would tell myself is, though, and this, because I'm a huge overthinker, and I was definitely an overthinker when I was younger. Man, love yourself early. Love yourself early. When you find that self-love early, like, you need confidence when it comes to everything. Your confidence will go through the roof.
Absolutely.
Confidence going. So I would definitely tell myself, like, yeah, like, love yourself early. Like, you're a handsome man. Like, you know, you can do anything you put your mind to. Like,
that mirror talk.
Love
that mirror talk.
And the thing is, when you love yourself and you feel like, you gotta feel yourself, right? And I'm gonna tell y'all, and I know this. Sometimes people look at you like you tripping. I done sat there and told the person, I'm great.
I'm telling you.
And some people like, tripping, like, what you mean? You just got out of prison. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm the shit. Like, I really be feeling like that. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I don't vocalize it, like, just I don't try to be egotistic about it, but it's like, you know, just being confident. But some people not going, like, you gotta believe it before other people.
Absolutely,
believe it,
for sure.
And something crazy is, like, I've learned a lot from, like, I take a lot that I learned from football and just sports in general. I take to life situations. I was saying, I don't watch so many sports videos, so many highlights, especially like when they do like the mic'd up, like whether it's in basketball, football.
I love them, James.
The great players, they sit and they talk to themselves and they say that stuff.
All geniuses talk to themselves.
No, they definitely do. Like, I think of Aaron Donald, even Aaron Donald in the Super Bowl, like, he's telling himself, like, you made for this moment. Like, this what you work hard for.
For sure.
You gotta have them conversations to yourself. Like,
you gotta
man, like you gotta wake up, man. You're a hell of a person.
For sure.
Like you pushing.
For sure.
I'm telling you, you got children. Like, personally, I ain't got
no
children. I ain't got no children yet. Definitely want some one day.
Yeah,
ain't got no children yet, but like you got children. Like, man, I'm a great father. I'm a hell of a father. my son, my daughter love me. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have them self-talks. If you don't, you're gonna second guess yourself.
Absolutely,
You're gonna second guess yourself. And that's the last thing you want to do.
And I'm gonna say that it takes time to build, you know, something because it's like sometimes when you're placed in certain situations or around certain people, you might not want to be yourself. And that's the thing we deal with today. People not being themselves, man. You know what I'm saying? When you yourself, man, I'm telling you, bro, like my brother Manny was saying, you know, people look at you like you crazy, but you just being yourself and you loving on yourself. And that's why that's the only way your relationship is gonna work if you love yourself first, because people can see that. People can see it. And the people that have negative things to say, they don't love themselves. So that's why they're looking at you like you're crazy, like something wrong with you. Nah, ain't nothing wrong, perfectly fine. I'm just loving on myself. I'm thankful to be alive. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
I want to hold that. I want to try to, you know, like just bring it back real quick. All geniuses talks to themselves and that self-talk. You reminded me, like you real life just gave me a flashback of one of the most realest self-talks I had in my life. The day I was getting released, I was walking up that walkway, the R&D and all that, and I'm talking to myself. Everything I don't know, it's just so much going through my mind. I'm sitting there telling myself, you're gonna be great, you're gonna do this, man, you gonna get out here, you gonna do that. I was scared as motherfucker.
Talk to him.
I was going in on myself. And I was hyping myself up, so it's necessary. You get a momentum when you hyping yourself up.
For sure,
momentum, you know what I'm saying. So that's very important for you. You know, everybody that's listening. That self-talk is very important. That self-belief, you gotta believe in yourself. But before anybody believes in you, just like you know how you said that self-talk, man, that's very important.
Well, one last thing to that too. I never forget a conversation, and I talk about this all the time. Hey, shout out Hugh, because that's like my brother, man. He definitely mentioned this to me one day. He told me, he was like, "You're too much of a pessimistic." He was like, he gave me that talk, and like I'm one of them people. Like I'd rather somebody tell me the real than like try to give it to me, you know.
Real.
So he said, "Man, you're pessimistic." He's like, "We not pessimists. Like we optimistic."
Absolutely.
People. Like you need to turn into an optimist.
Positive, man.
And when he said that, like that view I give on everything, or that view I was giving everything, as far as looking at the cup half empty, everything was starting to become half full to me. So like I started to see the good and everything. I started to speak the good and everything. And then like even from that day, him telling me this, like everything like turned into being, you know, like words have power.
Absolutely.
So I started manifesting a lot of things, and like I don't really like when people say, you know, like I ain't gonna get my hopes up. Like, nah, it don't hurt to get your hopes up. It don't hurt to get your hopes up. Because the only way you learn in life is from failure.
Most definitely.
That's the only way you're gonna learn.
Most definitely, bro.
And I would say like my failures in life is how I learn. You know what I'm saying? And like that made me who I am today.
For sure,
so
for sure.
Definitely, yeah. Like shout out to you for giving me that talk.
Definitely shout out. And I'm gonna say, man, L's don't stand for losses, they stand for lessons. We gotta stop looking at L's as, I took a loss. No, you took a lesson. You learned from that. If you didn't learn from it, you know, then it's a loss. But you gotta learn from everything, because like you just said, man, once you go through something, you learn how to, okay, what I'm gonna strategize. I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna do something better this time. And that's it, man. We so comfortable in our wins. And some people like this, when some people winning so much, they take a loss, like, God, I can't believe it. They go crazy. But sometimes, man, like me and my uncle was having a conversation. Like a lot of people that are successful, they come from broken homes compared to a person that had everything growing up. They usually turn out to be nothing, because at a certain age, your parents cut you off, right? Because you're so used to getting everything. But a person like us three, we gotta grind for everything. We gotta struggle for everything. We tend to appreciate it more. You know what I'm saying?
You that on the phone,
you know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro, it's just like life is beautiful, man. Like I always say, if you got another 24 hours, man, because we know a lot of people that didn't make it during this pandemic, it's a whole lot people dealt with, you know, mentally, physically, you know, loved ones. So it's just blessed to be here with my brothers, man. Just a beautiful thing. So listen, before we get up out of here, I want you to say some positive words to the youth, like motivation, like something to keep somebody that's encouraged, somebody that's going through a hard time. Because you have a powerful story, bro. Just, you know, coming out of high school, 18, not having no direction, college, you know, and then you go to college, things happen. So I want you to just share some words with some people that just keep them encouraged and keep them motivated.
I mean, as I mentioned earlier, man, it's always light at the end of the tunnel. Find that patience, and it's whatever you want to do, it's gonna find you. It's definitely gonna find you, but you gotta have that patience, and you can't give up on yourself. Like you gotta be your biggest motivator.
Yes,
you can't give up on yourself. You can't give up on yourself. And then I'm gonna say this. when you do make it, or when you able to, you know, provide and get that money you need, I know this might sound crazy, but get that life insurance. And the reason I say that is because that help build generational wealth as well.
Facts.
Because
that's a big fact.
You may look at it as a payment you're making, but at the end of the day, that's an investment. You invested in your life. You invested in your kids that come behind you, your grandkids that come behind you. So I definitely like invest in yourself, and that's investing in yourself. Like
So
get life insurance
for
For sure.
So it's lit.
That's long. So there you have it, man. The Real Two Tech, King Ralph, Marathon Manny. You know, episode of The Real. You know, we're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep bringing these special guests. They're gonna keep dropping these nuggets, this knowledge, this wisdom, this information. I appreciate you, brother, for coming and taking the time out.
I got a hell of a thing going here, man.
You know what I'm saying? And so you know what it is.
Appreciate you
The
for coming.
real. Yeah.